It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're reacting and having a discussion about a video from DaBrownie titled Dead by Daylight Stats East versus West. So I've been interested to really get into this topic. I've heard it kind of go around and I just want to see what's up. I want to know what the differences are. I have seen a lot of interesting like sort of information coming from Japan in terms of how like incredible they are at the game, I have to say. And it is quite nice to kind of see how they play the game like very differently. I know that like Legion was quite like useful for that sort of like side of the world, which is interesting. Like I think it was like Japanese comp, like Legion was like picked a lot, and I was like shocked. I didn't think that would be the case, so it's quite interesting to see. So let's go ahead.
Versus the Japanese player-based stats. So they took America, Canada, Europe, and so on, and placed their stats side by side with the Japanese player base for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's definitely interesting to look at, right? So according to the Japanese side, their #1 most picked killer is Wraith, and ours is Huntress, which is, you know, not too surprising. The Japanese player base really doesn't like Huntress, even though she is at #2. They think she's one of the weakest killers in the game. And they asked Kote directly at the Tokyo Ghoul event to buff her, and he literally said, "Get good." So
I didn't even know that he said that. That's crazy, bro. That's interesting. I like the idea that like around in like North America, like we consider Huntress to be quite good. We consider Huntress to be at least like an A tier, I would imagine, or maybe even like a high B tier. And for the Japanese to go, ah, no, they suck. Like Huntress ain't it, dog. It's like, what? Like that's crazy. And that's really interesting to see. So that's really cool. Let's continue.
It doesn't surprise me that they'd value Wraith over her because he has superior map mobility, right? Then you go down through the rest. We have Springtrap. They don't fuck with Springtrap at all, I guess. Legion, Kaneki, Wesker, and then Huntress.
So if you look at the screen, it says Japan, their #1 is Wraith, second place is Huntress, and third place was Legion, fourth was Nurse, 5 was Ghoul. So that's interesting to see. Then like at #10 it was Trapper, then Spirit, then Doctor, then Blight, Myers. Okay. All right, that's interesting. I really was not expecting that information, to be honest. Ghoul, I thought it would, like, I would imagine, because it's like a very I would imagine it's like a very well-known like mangas, like, and even anime. I would imagine that that's probably why they get Kaneki gets picked a lot, as well as the fact that it is a very strong killer. That to me makes sense. But let's continue.
Legion, Nurse, and Kaneki for the Japanese
Wow.
side. So Japanese side, Wraith, Huntress, Legion, Nurse, Ghoul, Myers, Blight, Doctor, Spirit, Trapper. And then for the world side, it's Huntress, Springtrap, Legion, Ghoul, Wesker. Damn, we have a lot of top tier killers up here. Myers, Wraith, Ghostface, Blight, and Nurse. I'm surprised Ghostface is that high on our side. Then you got the survivor pick rates. Really doesn't matter, but I do think it's interesting to note.
Kind of makes
8
sense.
versus 8. And then 8, 8, 6, 6, and then we have 8, 7, 6, 6.
Wow.
5. So kind of interesting, right? They like Fingman more. We used to like Fingman until Sable came around. And then here's something that's most interesting: the deadliest killers. So it's the same for Japan and the world. Vecna's #1. I really am confused as to why he's so deadly. Like,
I think, to try to answer DaBrownie, I think it's because of the fact that Vecna has like he's a very well-rounded killer, and arguably, in my opinion, one of the most fun killers. Even though I don't play them, I don't play Vecna much, but I think he's just an incredible character just because of his capabilities are just incredible. Like, he has a fly ability that it allows for different techs and allows for map traverse and allows for, you know, different things you can do. Like the fact that you have an orb that gives you information is going to give you info that other killers wouldn't have, which probably could allow for, you know, more kills in that sense. And he even has the mage hand, which probably could be quite useful in helping out with chases, the skeletons that we've seen with with other Vecna mains who are able to utilize the utilize those like skeletons quite well and get a lot of value out of it. And it's very cool and it's very interesting to see that Vecna is like quite good, and it's nice. Like it kind of, and also seeing Freddy as well. Like I would consider Freddy another example of like a good killer because of the options you have. And Vecna, at least in this example, it makes sense. Like he has something for everything. It's similar to Dracula in that sense. Vecna has something for everything, and it's very nice. And I'm very like, I'm just kind of glad to see like a unique character that I was really not expecting to be up there in terms of the kill rate. That's quite nice. And I think that he probably dominates, I think, at maybe the lower to average MMRs, because maybe a lot of people are not really used to like going up against him. You know, I don't even particularly think he's like an S tier by any means, but I just think it's because of his flexibility that it allows just more options for people that are able to use his kit well. And I think that is also applicable to even Freddy as well, like being able to, you know, manipulate the map to your advantage in that sense because of the dream palettes. Now, obviously, I've kind of strayed away as a Freddy main myself. I've kind of strayed away from him around the rework because I did prefer to. I did have a lot of fun with pre-rework Freddy when using the dream palettes. I was, even though it was a little bit stale at a certain point, but regardless, I strayed away from it. And obviously, like with the exhaustion meta that we're in right now, obviously with the vigil, like reducing your hindered like duration by a lot, and Freddy already has a very low amount of hindered and a very fast amount of hindered. You know, a lot of your hits are just simply not going to hit that you normally would get if you were to play Freddy similar to Clown. You're counteracting the loops. But if people are still able to utilize him well, and then if they're still getting a lot of kills with him, then hell, maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe I was in the wrong the entire time, and I would have known. And yeah, like, and at least with Onryo, I'm not too sure how that's going, because I would consider her to be like a C tier killer, like, but she's doing well, you know. And I'm guessing it's because of the condemn ability. I guess that's what's keeping her active, I guess, in that sense. Like if she can teleport enough and get those condemns off, and then, you know, take him out of the game, I mean, that's going to be very effective. So
he's more deadly than Nurse. He's more deadly than Blight. It's really interesting. It's kind of confusing, honestly, but you know, it is what it is. Then the world is on the right again. Like I said, Japan is on the left. So on the world side, we have Sadako, Freddy, and Pig in Dredge. If you notice, these four: passive slowdown, passive slowdown, passive slowdown, and then he's got a dark ass screen that, like, I feel like really fucks with people and like being able to see and things like that. Kind of
I can't see.
And then we have on the Japanese side passive slowdown. Victor, the little gremlin, moving at 1,000,000,000%. Passive slowdown from Sadako again. Pretty much the same all the way around except for these two. And then this right here is Pinhead. But I guess since they don't have the rights for him anymore, they can't show his picture, right? So that's on the Japanese side. So the full 10 for Japan, 6 to 10. Oni, Blight, Ghoul, Pig, Dredge. And for the world, it's Twins, Blight, Ghoul. Skull Merchant at 9 is crazy. That must be because people throw on Hook again.
Ah, okay. So let's take a look at the sort of perk selection. So if the left is Japan and the right is the world, yeah, that checks out. All the perks are pretty much consistent. Bamboozle is an interesting selection, though. Ironically enough, comparatively to the other perks, which is Pain, Res, Pop, Nowhere to Hide. I mean, yeah, Lethal, yeah. Yeah, no, that checks out. I mean, nothing really to add to that, I guess.
Then your most used killer perks, no surprise here, Pain, Res, same for Japan, same for the world, right? And then they don't deviate that much at all. Japanese side, Dead Man Switch, Pop Goes the Weasel, Nowhere to Hide, and Bamboozle. And then we have Pop Goes the Weasel, Nowhere to Hide, Dead Man Switch, and Lethal Pursuer, which is very interesting. And then the rest of the top 10, 6 to 10.
Oh, but there's a quick thing I want to point out. For Japan, one of the 9th most picked perks is No-Ed and Brutal Strength, believe it or not. Which, oh, and Corrupt too, and Deadlock. Yeah, okay. So it's interesting because, oh well, all across the world it's also Deadlock, Corrupt, and hey, yeah, No-Ed as well. Interesting. I think people are running more no-ed now because of just the constant gen rushing that we're seeing nowadays. Like, we're just in a gen rush meta at this point. It
10
has
for
been
Japan.
consistent for years.
Deadlock, Corrupt, Lethal, No-Ed, and Brutal. And then for the world, it's Bamboozle, Barbecue, Deadlock.
And here's a thing I want to point out for Japan specifically. Like, they're pretty, like, self-care is pretty popular with Japan, which is interesting. But Windows, Dead Hard, yep, Lithe, pretty much same stuff. Resilience, Deja Vu being number 4. It's ironic because like, we've been told that, oh, Deja Vu is in meta, like, you know, it shouldn't be nerfed, and then yet it's one of the most picked perks in the entire game. Windows of Opportunity, I also argue that really should receive a nerf as well. I think it's a little bit too overtuned.
So very interesting.
In my
then we
opinion.
get to the Survivor perks. Same. Number 1, of course, Windows of Op, that OP-ass perk. And
It's a
then the
bit
Japanese
overtuned,
side,
yeah.
Dead
It's a
Hard,
bit
Lithe,
overtuned. I think they gotta
Resi, and
reduce it a
Self-Care.
little
And
bit.
then for us, it's Lithe, Resi, Daysha, and Finesse. So yeah. And then this is where it really gets interesting. This is the Swift rates and escape rates. Now, survivors would gaslight you and have you believing that like Swifts are 1% of all matches and 99.999% of your matches are solos. But it turns out that's the exact opposite. The majority.
Thank you. The stats have been released. We have some information now. Thank you to Brownie for sharing this with us, because we can finally prove now with at least some evidence that it is indeed vast majority are Swifting.
If your matches are going to be Swifts, whether they be duos, trios, or a full 4-man. So they were talking about how they put it in Google Translate and it failed and they couldn't really do it right. Well, I used my brain and I just slapped it into ChatGPT, and of course it translated it very easily because it's an AI.
Dude, I'd be dying with that. That'd be dying with that. So Japan is the solo queue player share 54%, escape rate 44. God damn, 44%. Two person party, it is player share 24%, escape rate 44%, player share 12. For three person party, escape rate 44%, 4 person 46%. So yeah, I mean, there you have it, right? There you have it. There you have it.
I know people are anti-AI. I'm not. So the columns represent party size, solo, duo, trio, for survivors. The rows of percentages of players playing this way versus their average escape rate. So now we can see Japan, their solos is 54%. So the majority, their escape rate's 44%.
Think about it this way. We have solo queues in Japan with a 44 escape rate. 44%. Higher than the world, by the way. Boy, like, this basically confirms what I've been stating for day in and day out. It is indeed confirmed a skill issue. Like, across the board. We just confirmed it within DaBrownie's video. We just confirmed that it is indeed a skill issue on the survivor's end of escaping. Solo queue is not a problem at all. Anybody complaining about solo queue might have to look at these stats to start to recollect, you know, a little bit on what's kind of going on with that. Now, either, like I've also stated, to add a little bit of nuance to this, because it's necessary. You may be good at looping, you may be good at Survivor, you may be good yourself, but if you're solo queuing, you're gonna probably have like teammates that are just completely buns. This data directly proves my point. Player share 41%, escape rate 38% compared to the player share of 54%, and the escape rate being 44%. So just directly proving that it's a skill issue. The escape rate is nearly at the same amount as a Swift. Solo queues and Swift in Japan are escaping at the same rate. Like, that's insane. Like it really makes you think. Like, it really does. And I guess just the vast majority, man. Like, the vast majority of people just running around in solo queues have literally zero idea what the hell they're doing.
Their duos is 24%, and the escape rate is 44%. And their trios is 12%, and the escape rate is 44%. So solos, duos, and trios are pretty much all 44%, which is very interesting. Behavior wants 40%. They're at 44, so they're kind of overperforming.
So there you go. And mind you, check it out. A solo queue is at the same level of a 2 and 3 person squad in Japan. Wow.
And then their 4-man is 10% with an escape rate of 46, so just slightly better, which is interesting. And then you compare that to the world, solos is actually 41 with an escape rate of 38, which is very interesting, so less than half. Their duos is 32%, which is very high, surprisingly, with an escape rate of 37. Then the trio is 16% with 38, so almost the same across the board, right? And then their 4-man is 11 with a 40%. So that
this also proves with this data that the vast majority of your matches can consist of 3-mans, 4-mans, like a lot of the time, because 32% of the player share are 2 people, 16% being 3. So that's a lot. Like, even if it's like, even if it seems a little coordinated, it probably is, you know? And that's insane. That is insane.
That is very interesting. That means 59% of your matches are going to be SWFs. So about 6 out of every 10 matches you play is going to be a SWF of some kind.
Thank you to DaBrownie for breaking that down for us. And honestly, this directly just proves everything we've been stating. I mean, wow, we have even more evidence to prove like that it is indeed a skill issue on the survivor end. Who would have guessed? But if you guys want to watch the rest of the video, it'll be linked in the description to check out DaBrownie's video. Check out his channel. While you're down there, consider supporting the channel and stay tuned for my members. If you want to become one, join the Patreon, become a YouTube member, or even subbing on Twitch will have you get your name read off at the end of every video. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Well, I wanted to go ahead and take some time out to thank all my members from Patreon with Pro King 101, my YouTube members, Majora Jeff, Endire, Evil Peachy YT, Zero Mocker, Christian, Hexdev, and Crow Vader, and for my Twitch subscribers, Cake is the Road, Danica 2002, Final Girl _Bunny, Acklefin, Chili Cinderace, Zero Mocker, Ginsburg, Johns 117 _ Lovely Ghost TTV, Jar TTV, Zazaboo, and Crow Vader. Just wanted to thank you guys. And if you also want to have your name read off at the end of every video, make sure you join on one of these platforms to get one of those perks, as well as the other perks you get. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.